Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I thought I'd show you today a few more of my Viscontis, and these look, if you know vintage pens, if you know Parkers, you'll probably recognise that the material that's used here. This is what's called stacked celluloid, or some people call it stacked coin celluloid, because it does resemble the stacking of silver coins. Visconti have done this with a number of different pens. I think they started out with the, if I'm not mistaken, maybe the Copernic. I remember seeing a stacked celluloid in the Copernic, and they've done the Visconti Wall Street. They did two versions. They did the non-LE version, and then the LE version, limited edition version. There's also Stilograph Corsani, a retailer shop in Rome in Italy, has also done a couple of pens using that same material, which are these two here, and this is the Wall Street. And then also Visconti did the Divina Metropolitan. Now these are all what's called the platinum version of the stacked celluloid, so it's a silver like stacked coin. Visconti have also done them in a green, a red, I think a blue as well, a number of other different colours that are certainly more rarer nowadays to actually find for sale. But my first one was the Corsani 90 from Stefano at Stilograph Corsani. Now, he had this pen made after the Wall Street had been made, and this was to signify the 90th anniversary of his fountain pen and stationery and watch store in Rome in Italy. And he had 79 fountain pens made and 11 rollables, and so that made up the 90. And I think if I remember rightly, and I'm sorry Stefano if I've forgotten, but I think the 79 signifies the house number or shop number on the street that he has for his business. So 79 and 90. This model has now long sold out, unfortunately. I bought it still when there were, I think, about 20 or 25 left of the fountain pens. I then showcased it on Reddit, and a lot of people went wild over it. They had never seen it before, and so suddenly Stefano had a lot of people buying these up, I think by the time I bought it, it had already been out for 2 years, and there was still like another 20 or 25 left. But soon after I bought it and showcased it on Reddit, it started to sell again like hotcakes and sell out really fast. So this is actually it's using the stacked coin celluloid, and you can just see how well this sparkles and changes under light. So like a lot of pens, like the Pelicans, like the Ocean Swirl and that, like you get dark areas of the material, and then you get very vibrant light areas of the material, and that's what actually makes it more for me. And it's rather lovely. So this was actually made as a Homo sapiens. So you have the two Homo sapiens rings here. It comes with the My Pen system as well. It's a power vac filler. This one is inked at the moment. Now I did get this originally as a medium nib, and I've since replaced this with a 1.3 stub, because lately I have liked 1.3 stubs, and I do like larger nibs, I cannot lie, as the saying goes. And then more recently, Stefano went back to Visconti and wanted to make another version of the pen, and this one he went with like the Brunelleschi style facets. So this isn't a Homo sapien, but it is a again stacked celluloid, but he called it the octagonal, but a play on the word octagonal, so it's OCTA 90, as in 90th anniversary, NAL. So octagonal, but spelt with 90 in the name, which is a little bit strange. But and it took me a little while to get used to it, and I'm sure probably a lot of people. But I do like it, and it's certainly from a marketing perspective, it's a good, unique name that probably not many people would use. Now, sadly, this is sold out, and in February 2018, unfortunately, Stefano's store got raided, and pretty much most of his pen stock got wiped out, and with that, a huge amount of these octagonals that hadn't yet been sold, because these only came out in November, I believe, of 2017. So again, I got this one. I didn't get this with a 1.3 stub, but I got it with a broad nib. So I'm really glad that I managed to get this. Now knowing that most of the pens that he had, I think only, I think there were maybe 100, and I'd have to double check, but I think there were only about 15 sold or something. So it's a real shame. But if you do see one of these, hopefully, if you want to pick one up, it will be from a reliable source, and the pen isn't stolen. But it's such a lovely pen. So I really do love this stacked celluloid. I think the platinum, silver stacked coins celluloid looks, in my mind, better than the green, the red, the blue, and other colours, because it just gives off so much more shine to it. But it's such a lovely pen, and on here you'll see on the cap band, Stefano on this one says Corsani the Octagonal, and then the LE number. And then on the original Corsani 90, you just have the Corsani, and then you have the dates there. So this pen came out in 2014. And then the other stacked celluloid pen that I have is the Wall Street, and I mentioned earlier this comes in an LE version, a limited edition version, and a non-limited edition version. So this is a limited edition version, and I'll tell you the main difference between the limited edition and the non-limited edition. The limited edition, which is this one, comes as a power vac filler and celluloid as the section. The non-limited edition comes as a cartridge converter, and it comes with a silver section. So the non-limited edition will be a lot cheaper. Still, the limited edition version here comes in, I think it was 3,000 or 4,000 even. So it's actually quite a lot of pens really in a limited edition run. Although, if you look at some Mont Blancs, they have limited edition ones of like 18,000. So, like to be honest, I would say that's not a limited edition one. I would even say a limited edition one of 4,000 per colour is pushing it a little bit as well. It's more of a special edition, I would say, at that point. But that said, this is a lovely, stunning pen, and this one has a 1.3mm stub on it. Lovely nib. Also has the double reservoir power filling system there. This is a juicy wet pen. I absolutely adore it. So that's currently inked up at the moment. And then the other pen that I have here, which I absolutely love, is a Divina. Now, these are called the Divina Metropolitans, and so these are smaller than what's called the oversized Divina. But again, it's in the stacked celluloid. Again, it comes in the platinum or grey silver edition. It comes in green. I think red and blue. But again, it's a stunning pen. It's more of what Visconti would call the midi size, or some retailers will call it the medium size pen, not to be confused with the nib. But again, like this is a lovely pen with the silver rods twisted. It does come with a strange filling mechanism. This is it's basically a captive converter. So it basically has a converter in here that's sealed within the pen, and then you pull this knob out and then you twist it to fill it. So it's what's called a captive converter, and most of the Divinas are using that filling system. Only holds up to like 0.6 milliliters of ink, so not a huge capacity. This one I love. This is a broad nib that I've got on this pen, and again, it's a very juicy wet broad nib. Also, so this doesn't have the double reservoir power filler system. But it does have the hook safe lock like a lot of the Homo sapiens have on it, so it just locks in a quarter of a turn. But again, this is a lovely stacked celluloid pen, and I love to show this off. I love to write with this. It never gives me hand fatigue. It's a juicy wet nib. Downside is it will drink ink very, very quickly, but it's a lovely pen, and I probably would pick up another one as well, maybe a different colour if I come across another one at some point, because I do like this pen so much. So there you have it, really. That's the Visconti Stacked Celluloid pens I have in my collection at the moment, and like I said, I may add more as time goes on. I do have a list of pens that I would like to add, and they're constantly changing in terms of order of which pens should be added next. Some of it is down to how rare the pen is, or if a pen suddenly becomes available, then that may jump to the top of the list. Yeah, I truly do love these stacked celluloid pens. So I just wanted to show you these today, and I'm sure you'll see a lot more of these on my Instagram account in the future. So thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.